Hello, world. Welcome to another stream with me, Adam Turret. I'm excited today that we're here to talk about CrossClave 14.1 and also to talk a little bit about, generally the idea of software development. Software development is hard. So one of the things that we've seen a lot in the last few years is the advent of a lot of code-free kinds of applications, applications that tell us you'll be able to make an app and it will work and you can put it in the app stores and make $1 million and you don't have to write a line of code. Those frameworks are pretty cool and you can make some really interesting things with them. But I'll tell you, man, it is not that easy to make an app and to have it work and to do the things that you want, especially if it's anything that's not really, really simple. So the reason that I wanted to have a video just about CrossClave 14.1 was because 14.1 is what we call a hotfix. So let's talk about what a hotfix is. Generally, when we at Spider Oak release software, the way that we approach it is we release major versions every 2 to 4 weeks. And you can see this in the numbering. We're up to version 14. 14.1 is a hotfix, but the next version won't be 14.2. The next version will be 15, and then 16, 17, 18. Some versions at Spider Oak, we actually do an internal release and don't release it publicly. And that's why sometimes if you look at our release notes, you'll see that we had times where we went from version 9 to version 11. We did have a version 10. It's just that was an internal only release just for testing to help make version 11 with a bunch of new features come out sooner. So that's how we do numbering at Spider Oak with CrossClave specifically. So what's a hotfix? Well, a hotfix is when we do a release and we find out there's a problem. This is either a bug, something we didn't catch in testing, or something new that crops up after testing has finished up that we didn't realize was going to be a problem. So in the case of CrossClave, what was the problem? We found that for some Windows users, they were having problems in CrossClave 14 opening Office files. So, for example, and I'm going to embarrass my boss a little bit. My boss is a great guy, Dave Para. Dave has the dubious honor of being the one person on the Spider Oak team that runs into every bug and issue ever. So if you ever use some of our software and think, man, I seem to run into all the bugs, just let's chat. I can tell you some stories about Dave. So Dave was one of the first people who ran into this problem of Office files on Windows not opening properly. It was a really strange edge case, and we'd done a lot of testing, including testing on the new Windows 11, trying to make sure that everything worked well on that platform. And while there was one instance where we were able to get an error to show up, we weren't able to consistently reproduce. And so the QA team did their testing, wasn't able to reproduce the problem, and we went ahead and did more testing and then did the release. Well, it turns out there were quite a few people who did run into this problem in a way that was different from the way that we tested. So the problem was the length of file paths. The way that we handle files in CrossClave is a cloud-based file system. So you're in CrossClave, you've got a file that's there. Maybe it's your file, maybe it was a file that somebody else uploaded. Regardless of how that file got into CrossClave, when you double click and launch that file, what happens in the background is it gets downloaded, decrypted, and then is launched. This is why with really large files, for example, if you have a rip of a Blu-ray movie that's in a space that you're in CrossClave, and you double click, that's not going to just pop up because it has to go to the server, get that blob, decrypt it, and then it will open up for you. So with Office files, what we were seeing was in that process of decrypting and opening the file locally, the file path, the name of the path was getting too long and Windows was having errors. This wasn't something that happened with all applications, but it did seem to happen quite a bit with Office applications or PDFs if you use Adobe Reader as your default PDF application. So how do you fix this? Well, the engineering team got together with the QA team and the customer success team. We looked at all of the bug reports that we'd seen. We analyzed logs from users who had run into this issue. We diagnosed the problem. Then the engineering team went back and found a way to fix it. This all happened in a very short span of time, partially because we really wanted to make sure that users who were having this issue would be able to get a fix quickly. The other part was our boss was also having this problem, and we all wanted to make sure our boss was happy. Yes, even at a great company like SpiderOak, we do worry about making our boss happy. So within a few days, we had a new version that the QA team had tested and confirmed fixed this issue. That's the purpose of a hotfix. An unexpected problem comes up, you evaluate what the problem is, decide on a way to fix it, test the fix to confirm that it does actually fix the thing that you want, and then release a new version outside of the normal release window. This is how the sausage gets made. It's a little bit rough sometimes because software is hard. And security software, especially software that deals with encryption, is even harder than your run-of-the-mill software. So that's the story of SpiderOak, of CrossClave 14.1. If you're on Windows, when you go to our website to spideroak.com and click that download button, what you'll see is 14.1 is the version that you download. If you're on Mac or Linux or Android, you will still see 14.0 because the hotfix only applied to Windows. Now, we did take this opportunity to include code for other operating systems to make sure we don't run into the same problem, which is the file length. On other operating systems, this tends to be less of a problem than it does on Windows. Windows is a little bit more restrictive with that character limit. But we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to run into it anyways, since we already know how to fix it. So in the next version, we will actually release a fix as part of that version, a preemptive fix for other operating systems. Well, since we're here and we're together and we're chatting about CrossClave, I thought that I'd share a couple new things that are going on. We have some cool new features coming down the pipeline, and we're really excited to share them with you. So the first thing that so many of you have asked for, and we're chomping at the bit to have, is iOS is coming. We have two really great engineers on our staff, Chip and Aleko. They've been working tirelessly to get an iOS version up and running. I actually have an early beta that is running on test flight on my devices, and I've been using it for some of my work. It's good. It's not quite ready for public testing, but it's close. It's getting there. So what we hope is in the next few weeks, we'll have a version of iOS ready to release on test flight. For those of you who don't know what test flight is a way that software companies can invite people to use an application, an app, before it's publicly released to the App Store. So what we'll have when we're ready for public testing of the CrossClave iOS beta is a page you can go to sign up, and then we'll give you a link. You click that link. If you already have test flight installed on your device, then it will add CrossClave, give you the option to add CrossClave to your test flight. If you don't already have test flight, it'll prompt you to download it and then give you the option to add it to test flight. TestFlight will then install it for you. Installs that happen through TestFlight are time restricted. So usually the window is 90 days, although what we've seen so far with our internal testing is we're getting new versions much sooner than 90 days. And when a new version is released to TestFlight, then of course it'll update and your 90-day timer starts over. So for those of you who are interested in helping us test the iOS version of CrossClave, please contact our support team. You can do that at crossclave@spideroak.com or through the website crossclave.support. The support team will keep a list of all the people who are interested in trying out the iOS version and will get in touch with you with instructions when we're ready. Other new features that we're working on, a big one is the updates to the video conferencing feature. So right now, if you're in CrossClave, we actually do have an experimental version of video teleconferencing. It's one-to-one, and you first go to settings to experimental features and turn on this flag. As long as the person you would like to talk to has also enabled, turned on that flag, then when you're in a space, you'll see, and let me show you just in CrossClave how this works. You'll go to your settings, experimental features, turn on video conference. And then when you're inside a space, you can go to people and you'll see other people in this space with a phone button. So this is how it works right now. And this is very similar to how we think the update will work. The difference is we've really fixed a lot of the lag, and if you use this feature right now, it does have a lot of output that goes into the chat channel. Not ideal. It works, and we actually use this quite a bit. For when I'm doing one-on-ones with my team or something like that, we'll use CrossClave for those chats. But it's not ideal. So this is one of the things that we're really excited to have for you is an updated version of video teleconferencing. This is an important first step towards having group video teleconferencing. And of course, we want to make sure that we do this in a way that is secure and end-to-end encrypted. And this is just part of what you get with CrossClave, is the ability to have these secure video teleconferences. So that will be coming soon. Another really exciting feature, which was coming soon, is what we call airlock. So airlock is a way to share files from inside CrossClave with people who are not on CrossClave. For example, if I have a file that I want to share with my brother who is not on CrossClave, I'll be able to go into the Files tab, select that file, and go into the file details and click Share with Airlock. Airlock is simply a website that you can send the person to, give them a string of words, much like the onboarding process to add a new person to your team. They will input a few words, and that file will be sent from CrossClave on your computer to them, and they'll be able to download it through the website. This is all done without touching the server, so it's peer-to-peer sharing of files. This has some distinct advantages. In particular, no file size limit, and once the share is over, it's automatically ended, so you don't. This isn't the kind of thing where you put a file up and people can download it indefinitely. This is really meant for peer-to-peer sharing, and it does this in a very secure way. If you're someone who ends up using services like Hightail, this may be a better option for you because it's included with the cost of your CrossClave subscription, and you'll be able to share really large files. I believe our file size limit right now is 5 gigabytes. And so as long as you can put that file into CrossClave, you'll be able to share it through Airlock. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. If you are a CrossClave customer and you're on Windows, make sure you go to our website to download the 14.1 update. For those of you who haven't tried CrossClave yet, we would love for you to give it a try. You can do that at spideroak.com/crossclave. You can sign up for free, and we also have paid tiers for those who need more storage or want to add more people to your team. All right. Well, for the Spider Oak team, I am Adam Turvitt. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you learned a little bit about software development and in particular, what a hotfix is. And if you have any suggestions or questions for us, please be sure to let us know either in the comments of this video or by reaching out to us at crossclave@spideroak.com. Thanks.